I love the Lord who saved my life. I'm a husband of one wife, Grace, and a father of two, Gloria and Wesley, in that order. I was born and bred in Muranga. That's where I was raised. I'm a finance professional. That's my training in my area, and actually that's what I practice. But besides this, I love the Lord who redeemed me. The journey began 20 years ago, the year 2001. It was January 19th when I had an encounter with the Lord. It was a night. That night became the beginning point of my journey with the Lord and my journey of faith. The same year, 2001, the Lord spoke to me in a vision at night, and I saw myself teaching, and I knew from the onset that God would want me to grow to become a teacher, to serve Him as a teacher of His Word. The following year, the Lord spoke to me. I was in a college in Kirinyaga where I was studying my CPAs, and He clearly instructed me that one day I would become a pastor. It's not something that I really wanted or liked. Indeed, I resisted and I didn't want to become a pastor, and from that moment on I kept on telling men that I don't want to become a pastor. Though many knew me as a pastor, even in college those days, I resisted that idea. It would be furthered in my further studies, because even when I joined campus, I joined the evangelistic teams. I was a member of the CU and also a leader in that area. Fast forward that story, I later joined the CFF, that is a church where I've served and ministered for 17 years. And it is in this place where in the year 2013, I was ordained as a minister. And my journey in ministry began officially. I didn't want to go beyond that. Indeed, I wanted to do business, to finance the kingdom, but not to be at the core of it. And the Lord had to isolate me. And this happened late 2015, after the Lord realized that I'm not interested in ministry and I don't want to further the gospel or even be involved in teaching and the practice of ministry. He had to isolate me. And the company which I work for sent me for work in Nigeria. But on this occasion, I just told God, I've surrendered and I want to get into ministry. But looking back, I can clearly say I've seen the faithfulness of God and I have nothing to regret. I know this is just the beginning point of the many things that He would want to do even into the future. And at this moment, I've set my heart for what He would want to use me to do. Trinity House began not as an idea of man, but it's an idea which came from God. Both the name, the way we do ministry, what our focus area is, it's an idea of God. I went to my seniors at the fellowship where I was ministering. I shared with them the burden that the Lord had put in my heart. And at this point, they gave me a hand of fellowship. They prayed for me. They involved even the entire congregation, blessed me, and released me to go establish a new church branch. I requested several brethren from different churches to become the first board of elders, if I may call them that way. It was the steering committee of 7 people drawn from different churches, and they came together, and I told them from the onset that the motivation behind it is that I want them to stand as my elders, to guide me, to share with me ideas of how we can shape a new church plant.
It started 3 years ago, and when our pastor received the call to come and plant a church alongside Thika Road, na alianza pale Blue Springs. Nilikuwa mmojawapo wa watu wale walikuwepo kwanza, na kwa hivyo kanisa likaanza kukua kutoka ile siku. After 1 year Blue Springs ndio tukilihamia mahali hapa Roysambu, na ndio tumekuwa sasa kwa miaka 2.
And this is how we came up with the launch date, which was 26th of August, the year 2018. And from there, I hired a hall. We bought some few facilities, amenities that would help us to establish, and we began at Blue Springs Hotel. We had this hall for a few hours every Sunday, and it's where we began our service. And on the launch date, the Lord had put this burden in a few individuals and had decided to join us to become the first members of the Trinity House ministry, and we were 7 of us. So we began the fellowship at Trinity House. Later on, we grew to around 20, and it's by the time we were around 20 people that we began our Sunday school program.
Our Sunday school, we have come from far. First, we started when we were few. We were around 6. From the 6, 3 of them were between 2 years and 3 years. And from the 6, only 3 could learn and understand. We were meeting at a car wash. Sometimes you would find there are cars around there, so you don't have a place to be. So you would waste all the time calling their owners to come and pick their vehicles so that we can have a place where we can call our church. Some other times we are outside and the weather is not that good. Sometimes it's very hot, some other times it's cold. The kids cannot concentrate. As time went by and by, we started increasing in number. We would get visitors. Others would come and say, we have come to take tea. And we grew from that 6, we went to 10. From 10, we grew to around 20. When we moved from the place we started our church to this place, the number increased. And by that grace, we have continually increased. We are over 40 from 2 years. Now, so far, we can say it's just by the grace of God.
So we fellowshiped there for 8 months at Bruce Springs, and due to different circumstances, we started looking out for a different venue. And that's when God brought us to the facility that we are occupying right now. And this place was a bush. We came here by the grace of God, cleared it, set up a few amenities, the washrooms, to make it more habitable, the perimeter fence, and thereafter we pitched a tent here because we had to level the ground, do a bit of backfilling, and make it a habitable place. And we thank God because from that moment on, we just saw the faithfulness of God. By the time we were relocating here, we were around 50 of us in terms of church membership, but since then we have seen the hand of the Lord, even enabling us to put up the church structure that we are having right now. Presently, we have 5 main groups. We have the children's department, we have the teenagers department, we have the youth department, then the men and the women. We have a steering committee made up of elders who sit and discuss and govern every single activity of the church.
Mandate yetu kama council ama church board imekuwa pastor akituambia ama vile Mungu amemsaidia na kumweka kwenye moyo ya vile anataka kazi yake ifanyike. Kazi yetu ni kumsupport kwa ideas na kwa resources na haswa kwa kumuombea. So tumekuwa tukiparticipate sana katika kumsaidia to make the plans that he has to materialize in one way or another, both spiritually and materially and even ideologically.
We have a projects department which is in charge of the development of the church. We have a department that is overseeing the children's ministry, including the training of the teachers and them that are involved in it. We have a department that looks at the media, and in it we have the technical team, we have the video team, and we also have the sound team. Then we have a worship team comprising of the choir and the music ministers in church. Besides these 2 departments, we have a mercy ministry department headed by the deacons, and the deacons are responsible besides taking care of the needy people in the church and the food bus that we operate as a church, they also look after programs like the communion and such other ministries. We have a ministers department, and in the ministers department, they are responsible of all spiritual aspects of the church. We run various programs, starting with the youth. We have the Kisima program, whose main objective is to reach out to the students who are in high school and tertiary level colleges We have programs which are tailored to look at the social aspects of a man. We have social retreats. We have activities where we break out, and rather than having activities in the church environment, we step out of the church environment and we go and have social activities. We talk about things which are foundational to families. We have various programs which are run by the Couples Fellowship, some which are indoor, others are outdoor. And the main purpose of this is to ensure that we are building a society where God is glorified and people are enjoying to be in that fellowship. But one of the main challenges we encountered, especially in our first year of establishment, was the location. We hired a hall, which was a multi-purpose hall, and it happened that this hall was used for various other activities.
The major problem we were able to spot it pale mwanzo ni kwamba kwa sababu tuko watu wageni na pia hatukuwa tunajuana sisi wote, ilikuwa sana kuleta mawazo yetu pamoja. Hiyo inakuanga a challenge, but by God's grace the pastor came akatusaidia kuintegrate moja na mwingine, na ndio tukafanya mawazo yetu kakuwa kitu kimoja haraka, na so far hiyo challenge ya kukua na migawanyiko hatujakuwa nayo.
I would say at the beginning this was a big challenge to get consistency, because on one Sunday you have some people who have shown up, but other Sundays they are not there, and we had to do all the things that we are supposed to do for us to have the service. Indeed, I may mention here that I used to come very early Sunday morning, set up the PA, go back to the house, refresh and prepare myself to come and do the ministry. And this continued on for quite some time. At the same time, actually, we also had my wife, when I'm ministering in the main service, she would be the one teaching the Sunday school children, and would continue on like that, including the leading of the services and the programs that we had that time. The motivation and reason behind the coming to be of Trinity House is to find an environment where families can thrive, a place where people can be taught the Word of God in its entirety, not portions, not teachings which are inclined in one area. The church is not a gloomy place. The church is a place that Christ created, that we can have koinonia or fellowship, a place of belonging. If someone is wounded, they need to come to church and get an answer for their problem. They need to come and find people who can really relate with them and understand their problem and interface with them. Look at the community that surrounds us. We have thousands and thousands of people who on Sunday, it's their day of staying indoors. And by the grace of God, we felt that we need to reach out to these people, not to make them go to churches on Sunday, but to make them have a fellowship with their Maker. So there is a strong inclination in this ministry to do evangelism, to reach out to the unreached.
Kwangu maisha yangu ya kiroho nimeona utofauti kubwa, kwa sababu ikianza haikuwa kama saa hii iko, and in that process ya kuanza at least unakuwa na time na Mungu. We used to come to church to pray. At least unapewa mahali unaambiwa uombe. At least unasikia uko prepared every time kusoma Biblia, kuomba. Then I have gained courage, because at that time hapo kitambo sikuwa na that courage kama yenye niko nayo saa hii. Naamini ya kwamba tunapoendelea hivi na Mungu na his faithfulness, nitakuwa hata bari, na hata wengine ambao tuko nao wenye walianza, hata nao najua wako na ushuhuda mahali walianza si mahali tuko saa hii.
Our Sunday school is totally different from the others, because the grace is also totally different by the grace of God, because the teachers select the memory verses for them, and also give them freedom to select the memory verses for themselves. They go train themselves and come present to the others. We also give them opportunities to do song presentations in the church. In every second week of every month, they do presentations, they do acts to nurture their talents. And also we take them out, like over the holidays, we organize a retreat for them where they go have fun and socialize themselves.
Nimeona tofauti kubwa sana, kwa sababu watoto wangu spiritually wamegrow, they have confidence ya kusimama hata mbele ya watu. Hii church ni mahali pazuri pa kukuja. Usiogope ukiwa na watoto. Kuna study school ambao watoto wetu wanafundishwa katika uungu. Ukiwa mama, sisi wa mama tunashika wa mama vizuri, tunawapokea kwa sababu tunajua kwamba si jambo rahisi, lakini katika Mungu mambo yote inasimama. Kama ni wazee, bado wazee wako, they are the pillar in the house, so we thank God for everything. Wanalika wote wa join hii church katika hii ministry. Saa hii ikiwa dogo hivi ina grow, hapa ndio pazuri.
I'm so glad to be here in this church, and I've seen a lot of changes in my life and my family, and I thank God for that. And I'm so happy. I thank our pastors and everyone, and I'm so glad. Happy anniversary to Trinity International House, and may God bless you, and as you continue ministering, and I wish for the best.
Let's keep the warmth. I can't imagine where Trinity House will be in the next 5 years or 7 years, because this far it has been God. To the youth, let us keep the warmth and also the unity. Great things lie ahead. To the guests, karibuni sana Trinity House.
Our neighbors from the Roysambo, others from Githurai, others from the Mwiki, Kasarani, we welcome you to our Sunday school, because our Sunday school is good. We'll help your kids to grow. We'll help your kids to know God better and the truth about the Word of God. Our Trinity House, we are carried by the grace of God, and our purpose is to raise children fully equipped with the Word of God for the better of their lives in future.
Trinity House has taken a journey. Indeed, we are now celebrating 3 years since inception. These have been 3 years of tremendous grace that the Lord has outpoured upon us. We know that there have been also many other challenges we've overcome, including the corona crisis, the period which no one would have believed that churches would survive, but the Lord has been there for us. I'll start by acknowledging the way the Lord has used my own wife, who first believed on this vision. Indeed, she is one of the strongest supporters I can imagine of. When no one else would be praying for me, I can count on my wife, who wakes up at night even when I'm asleep, to pray for me, to pray for my family, to pray for this ministry journey. Together with her is my children, who have been a blessing. And today, they look back and they enjoy the journey. Indeed, they are the ones who remind us every Saturday evening, remember tomorrow we should wake up early. We are going to church, because they want to come and fellowship with the rest of the friends who are at their age. The church where I used to fellowship, there is a community of brethren there, both the church members, the senior pastor, Reverend Dr. Edward, the Archbishop himself, who believed in the call of God upon my life, and they gave me the right hand of fellowship. Indeed, organizing a farewell for me and sending me off in a very strong way. I thank God for each one of them. Together with that was the committee that came on board. There was the first committee of the 7 brethren, and then the larger committee that organized the launch. And thereafter, people who have partnered with us, some every single month, they have sent us their financial support. They are not members of this congregation. Many who have prayed with us, some are my relatives, others are people who are afar off. They are not even in this country. They support us, online programs, they send us support for the outreach activities that we do, and I thank God for each one of them. I wouldn't forget that in this congregation we do also have brethren who have fellowship with us from day one. They believed in this vision without a structure, without even a building where we would be inhabit. They looked at the programs, the church services we used to have. It was deficient in many ways, but still they believed on the vision, They were there in all circumstances. Some devoted their time and their energy, some their resources, and they came and supported what God has done amongst us. I do also want to mention that in this church we have leaders in various capacities. Some are departmental heads, others are in the board. There are some who are ministers, and some are leading other various functions. Some may not even have a title, but they volunteer to do many things in this church. I want to sincerely appreciate each one of them for choosing to believe in the work that God has sent me to do. The vision was a young child which was born. Today we can say the child is crawling or learning how to make the baby steps, but this wouldn't have been possible were it not for each one of them plugging in and being there for us. May the Lord bless each one of them and do you good. May He always come through for you, even when you call and you need His support. May you be refreshed. Indeed, the Lord has been good to us. He has sweetened our journey. He has clothed us with beauty. He has fought our battles. He has confounded our enemies. And He has set our feet on a rock that we can now stand and say, He is Ebenezer.